Hello and welcome to another Leetcode video. So today we're looking at the problem minimum array changes to make differences equal. This was question 3 in Biweekly Contest 135, and this was actually like a very hard one. I was not able to get this during the contest, but I was able to upsolve it and just going to go through my solution and kind of explain how it works. So the question reads that we're given an integer nums of size n, where n is even, and we're also given an integer k. So we can perform some changes on this array, where in one change we can replace any element in the array with any integer in the range from 0 to k. So we can replace any integer in the array with an integer in the range from 0 to this given k value. We want to perform some changes such that the final array satisfies the following condition. So basically this is saying that if we take an index and we take a complementary index at the end, they all have to equal this value x. So for example, you'll see here 3 minus 1, the absolute value is 2. So we would have to make sure that every other pair, so 0 and 4, 1 and 2, we'd have to change these numbers so that all these pairs also equal 2. But we could change that x value to anything. It doesn't have to be 2. That's just the optimal way to do it for this example. But really, we can change it to any value from 0 to k and make sure we get that same x value for all the pairs. So in this case, what we do to make the optimal solution is we take nums1, which is this 0, and we put 2 here. So we get 4 minus 2 also equals this 2. Then we take nums3, which is this 2, and replace it with 3. So we get 3 minus 1 also equals 2. So with these two changes, we can make all of those pairs the same value. And the number that we're trying to achieve, that difference we're trying to achieve here, is 2. We don't know, just based on the example, what number we should be trying to achieve, so that's something that we have to figure out as well. So let's take a look a little bit closer at an example and try to get some observations that can help us solve this. So one important thing to notice in the constraints is that nums I will always be less than or equal to k. So we know that our k value will always be at least greater than or equal to the maximum value in our nums array, right? So basically, we just know that we can change nums I to anything in the range of k, and that k will always be bigger than anything in nums I. So this kind of simplifies it a little bit. So how would we actually go about figuring out what the optimal way to solve this is? So, I tried for a while to think of a good solution, but really what it comes down to is we just have to try everything, right? We have to try every possible combination. So basically, we want to try, for example, change all these pairs to equal 0, all the pairs to equal 1, all the pairs to equal 2, and just try every pair and see what's the minimum. So obviously, this would be pretty inefficient, right? So because our k can be the same size as n, so that would be an O of n squared solution, right? But using some kind of clever optimizations, we can make this work. So do we actually have to try every possible combination? Well, we don't, right? So let's say, for example, we examine the starting array and we look at the differences that we have already. So we'll just keep track of them in a hash map. So we have 3 and 1, so that difference is 2. So we have 1 difference of 2. We have 4 and 0, a difference of 4. And we have 2 and 1, a difference of 1, right? So these are the current differences that we see in our array. Does it make any sense for us to try and change all the numbers to 3, right? All these pairs to 3. So to do that, we'd have to change this to 0. We'd have to change this to 1. We'd have to change this to 4, right? So it doesn't really make sense to try something that we don't already have in the array, because we know that that's going to, by default, just take more changes than anything that we already have here. So we should limit the x values. So these are the x values that we're trying to change to whatever already exists in the array. So that's one optimization here. Another thing to notice is that there might be some, say we have an array that's just very long, 10 to the 5, right? We might only have one occurrence of a change, right? So say we have 1,000 pairs that have a difference of 3, but then for a difference of 1, we only have 2, right? Does it really make sense to try this? It doesn't. We should start with the greatest pairs that we see, and we should kind of work backwards. And this kind of guarantees that we're not going to realistically try every single pair. We're going to find the difference, and then we can kind of discard any other work after this because we know that it's not going to give us a more efficient solution. So how do we actually know this? So we can use a condition. So say these are the pairs that we found. We know that the total number of pairs in this array is the length of the array divided by 2, right? So here we have a length of 6, so we know that we have 3 total pairs. So if at any point this length minus this count, so let's say we have 3 minus 1 equals 2. So what this means is that there's 2 other pairs that we have to change, right? So we have 3 total pairs. We see one pair that already has a difference of 2, but there's 2 other ones still in the array that we need to try and change. But say we've already found our minimum answer to be 1, right? Say in a previous iteration, we've already found this minimum answer to be 1. Why would we even do this work? Because we know that at best, we could change 1 of these or change 2 of these to get the right answer, but we know that we've already found 1. So if we ever get to a point where we see the length of nums divided by 2 minus whatever count we're looking at, and count is the number of pairs that have that frequency, if this is ever greater than a min we've already found, we can just break out, right? Because what this means is that we've already found an answer that's better than this. And remember, we're going to be working backwards, right? The answers are only going to get worse and worse. So what we want to do is say, if we ever get to this point, we know that anything that we find after this point or at this point is going to be a worse answer than we've already found. So we can just break at this point and not continue any of that work. So that's kind of the logic of how we're going to optimize this. We're not going to actually try every single combination, but we're going to intelligently choose the options that we're going to look at. We're only going to do ones that are actually in the array already. So we're not going to try any that don't exist in the array. And we're also going to work backwards, starting with the most frequently occurring difference that we see in the array. So the next thing we have to consider is, how do we actually know how many changes we have to make? So let's say we're looking at this pair 3 and 1, and the k value is 4, right? So say we want to, we're trying to achieve an x value of 4. We want to make this difference equal 4. So right now, this equals 2, right? So 3 minus 1 equals 2. So clearly this is not valid. What are the options that we can actually use to make this equal to 4? So we can keep this max value fixed and not change it, and then we can make this value as small as possible. So for example, this becomes 3 and 0, right? So here we see this difference is still 3. This is not equal to our 4, and we can't get any bigger by just changing this one value. So we know that here we'd have to change another value, right? So we'd have to make this 4 and 0. So essentially what we want to do is we want to try 3 things. We want to say, can we change the min to the smallest value and have it be greater than or equal to 4? Or can we keep the minimum fixed and change the maximum to the maximum value and have this greater than or equal to 4? And if neither of those are true, we have to change both of these, right? So if either of those cases is true, we can change one or the other, or we have to change both of them. So I think when we hop into the code, this will make a little bit more sense, but yeah, that's kind of the logic of how we actually change and determine what needs to be changed to make our sums equal. So overall, this is O of n squared in the worst case, but we're never actually going to hit the worst case because we're making sure we're doing some optimizations that make sure we exit early and we're only dealing with the ones that we know are going to give us the maximum result. So let's hop over to the code and see exactly how this is going to work. So the first thing we're going to do is set up a couple variables. So we're going to have our min changes, which represents the minimum number of changes that we've found so far that we need to make our array equal. This is what we're going to return at the end of this question also as our answer. We're also going to have our diff count, and this is going to be a dictionary that represents the difference, so the difference that we see when we compare any pair to the number of times that difference occurs in the array. So what we do here is just kind of iterate through the array, get all those differences, then increment the values in that dictionary. Then we set up this pairs array. And what this is we're going to put tuples in here where the count is the first element and the actual diff that we're looking at, the difference in the pairs, is the second. Then we're going to sort this in reverse order. And what this means is that the pairs with the highest occurrence in the array are the ones we're going to be looking at first. So then we're actually going to iterate through those pairs. So for each one, we're going to first check this case. And this is the case where we exit early. We say, if we're ever at a case where the number of pairs that we have to change is greater than the min we've already found, then we'll just break because we know that we're not going to find a better answer at this point. So we can just exit out of here and we can just, whatever we've found so far, return that. So then what we do is we're going to keep track of our current changes for this iteration. Well, we're just going to go through every pair in the array again. We're going to get the current difference. If the current difference equals the x value that we're looking for, there's nothing to do, so just continue past it. Then we get the min and max values between this pair we're looking at. So here's the logic where we decide what we need to change. So we say if the k value minus the minimum is greater than or equal to x, we know that we can change this by just changing one element. Likewise, if the maximum minus 0 is greater than or equal to x, we know that we can do it with one change. Otherwise, that means we have to change both values. So we handled the cases where it's either we can change one or the other or change both. Then at the end of this iteration, what we do is we're just going to update our min changes. And then after we go through all of this, just return that value. So let's submit and make sure this actually works. And it does work. So this was definitely a hard one. It took me a really long time to figure out how to actually do this, but I think it's a really good question. It's a pretty challenging one. So, if you haven't tried to solve it yourself, I would definitely give it a try. So hopefully this is helpful, and thank you for watching.